it's wrong to say we never had a patriarchy in our world. I'm not saying today that it still exists and we're still oppressed. The only thing I had an issue with is when she said that it's not true that there used to be a patriarchy in...
I think there is a patriarchy.
Not you, I'm talking about, she was saying there and she said something before, that's how we got on this whole tangent. That's my only point. I'm not saying that we are super oppressed today and there's no equality in our system between men and women. That is not my point. My point is you guys think that everyone is radical feminists, which is just not true. Like, majority of feminists aren't radical. They're first wave and are just happy that we had people to fight for our right to vote and our right to work and shit like that. That's what most people think of when they think of feminism. They don't think about all men and...
I think patriarchy theory is kind of a radical theory. Again, you're pitting men
today, or that never existed?
You're pitting men and women against each other. You're saying that men oppressed women, when in reality it was powerful people that oppressed poor people.
And who
essentially,
was the powerful people?
Both men and women, because
women had
because
you can't be powerful if you can't even own land. So how was a woman powerful if she couldn't?
Women could own land.
Well, before we had the right to vote?
Women could own land. And guess what? It's different. Like, people try to make this comparison with race.
Name one woman of power before women had the right to vote. Name one woman who was in power.
Women, are, but
in America.
But you realize, like, when
not queen,
when there's
whatever, but in
but
America.
you do realize the family unit, right? Like, men get married to women, and then they have children, they have sons, they have daughters.
Okay.
So,
what's your point with that?
Oh my God,
I don't get your point. I'm so serious. Like,
men
what are you talking
being
about?
related to women does not make them not dislike women or have internal like things or prejudices about them. Like, if you think women,
I don't think men who are with women are gonna hate the women that they're around. Like,
well, I agree with
Yeah.
that. They're not gonna hate like their daughter. They're not gonna hate their mother. But that doesn't mean that they don't hate other women.
Maybe they don't like.
Hot take: men are more oppressed than women.
I know.
Didn't you just say we're not supposed to be oppressed?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
That is in fact a hot take.
That is
Let me give you one.
That is a take.
Okay, give us an example.
I'll give you one thing, and I will genuinely. I'll try to move on from this, but okay. I'll give you one. So, let's say upon birth, the first 7 days of life, who is more oppressed, men or women, in the United States? Neither. It's pretty equal.
Today, I would say
in the first 7 days of birth is.
Yeah, first 7 days of birth, because you're a male or a female upon birth. So,
I mean, as a child, you're born. You just exist.
Yeah.
Anybody who's more oppressed?
You mean like men with circumcision or something like that?
Yes, upon birth. It's so funny. They laugh. They think it's funny. But like, okay, yes.
Even most men laugh at this.
Wow.
Like,
see?
I'm so sorry. I honestly, if anything, I've only met men who wish they were circumcised as a child. I've never met a man who was mad that he was circumcised.
Okay, so
what are you guys even fighting for?
Let's not
what
downplay
are you
it.
even fighting for?
Let's not downplay it. It's child genital mutilation. They don't have a say.
So are you circumcised?
I am, yes.
Would you have rather been uncircumcised?
I would have liked to have had the choice, yes.
So you would have liked to have the choice? You say that, but you would have chose to cut off your hood as an adult?
No, I would have just probably
the choice
intact.
Is made. Oh, so you would rather have your skin?
Well, it's hard to say because I've
met quite a few.
It's hard to say. Well, it's hard to say because I don't know. I've never experienced the difference because it occurred when I was
all I've met is before is, if that's you, I'm not going to discount what you actually think and the men you've met, but I've only ever met men who were either circumcised and wish they were uncircumcised, that wish they were circumcised, or I've met men that are circumcised and they're like, yeah, I would have been pissed if my mom didn't circumcise me.
Perhaps it's because there's a social stigma in this country and other countries where there is circumcision, where it's actually reinforced by women because you are used to men being circumcised. If all men just weren't circumcised, there would be no comparison between cut and uncut.
Of course, but we're well past that. So that's like a...
Okay, but it's a barbaric...
He just wants the choice, and he's right with his choice. Like, so sorry.
Okay, it's a barbaric practice that has it's not medically indicated for the vast majority of people. There are some people who... if the foreskin's too tight or whatever, they fine. But it's a barbaric practice. It has absolutely nothing to do with cleanliness. And I think it is actually probably inflicting some sort of emotional wound on young baby boys. mutilating their genitals upon birth. They cry when they're fucking. The babies cry when I don't think they were administered any painkillers or anything. It's like this thing that chops it off. Like,
I heard it doesn't really hurt them.
What'd you say?
But it's a baby. Like, how do we know it doesn't? Like,
it's just a barbaric practice.
I agree. Signs that could tell us if it hurts them or not.
If women were
I don't know.
Well, okay, well, let's not fucking go there.
My point, I definitely get what you're saying. I used to be the same way. I even honestly used to say, like, stop circumcision, used to be one of those people. But after talking to more men, I came to my own self-conclusion that reversing that today could cause more harm than good, because today I feel like there is more men, because of how society is, there is more men who would rather be circumcised, and it would be a lot harder for them to do that at an adult age than it would be done as a baby. So that's why I honestly used to be on that for it, but I feel like it's just one of those things that we are so far in that I don't know if it's going to do more harm or good to try to reverse now.
I'm pretty sure my understanding of the medical literature on it, there are some situations where it could be medically indicated where, you know, if the foreskin's too tight or whatever, you can't, I don't know, whatever, it's painful, then perhaps in that scenario, would it have been better to have it done as a child? Yes, but there needs to be informed consent. Like, I don't think we should be mutilating the genitals of children.
I'm saying I totally get your standpoint, and that's why I used to have the same one, but mentally standing, I think today, since it is more common than not to be circumcised, if we stop circumcising men today and they have to wait until they're an adult age to get it done, which is a very painful procedure as an adult, we're going to have men who have psychological issues about their penis being uncircumcised because we're trying to give them bodily autonomy, but they won't get it done because it's a much harder procedure as an adult than a baby. So that's why I'm like, I get what you're saying, I get the fight for it, but I think it needs to have a lot of research done on how it could mentally affect men in the future.
I don't think because some men might need to get a circumcision later on in life.
I'm not saying because they need to, it's because they want to. I'm not talking about the medical cases. I'm talking about the cases of like men. I do know men today who are uncircumcised who really talk about it a lot, that they really wish they were circumcised. So that's my only point, but I get that.
But why?
I'm sorry that
you have to ask why, because maybe it's because there's like their peers also were, and so there's an expectation romantically.
Yes, but that's still a valid reason. So like that's not going to.
Right, but if all men just weren't circumcised, then it wouldn't be. But
that's why I'm saying today we're already past that.
Okay, we're already there. But so we should continue with this barbaric practice.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It is a very touchy subject.
I think we should get rid of it. In any case, let's move on. We have a couple chats here, and we'll try to wrap up here pretty soon. We have Liam L.A., Brian, who cares? Myron and G, that's not related. That's from 20 minutes ago. Liam L.A., it's going to take a while to get through all of these. So let me pull up. Let's see. Puffy Vegas, he has a 300 body count. I think we did that one. Puffy Vegas, hey, thank you for the 50. We have Rick Bungle.